So, I'm filming this video to spread a message about why you shouldn't fly Allegiant Air. Something I just witnessed on the airplane that was completely inhumane and deplorable, that everybody was in shock at what actually happened on this plane by the flight attendants. It was Flight 1201 from Orlando to Asheville. It's January 2nd, 2017. We were 4 hours delayed. Everybody was tired. The two ladies in front of me, sitting across from each other in the aisle, were sisters, and their father is dying in hospice right now. So as we're on the tarmac getting ready to take off to go back to Asheville, the one sister reaches across the walkway to rub her sister's shoulder because she's crying, because I'm starting to get upset. I can't believe this happened. But she's starting to cry, and so her sister consoles her because her father's dying, and the stewardess sitting behind us, there was one dark-haired lady and one blonde-haired lady, both probably in their early 20s, and she yelled at her and said, "Is there a problem, ma'am?" And she said, "Yeah, I'm consoling her because her father's dying." She's like, "Ma'am, I don't care about your personal problems. You just need to get back in your seat." And I just turned around and looked at her. I was like, "Did you hear what she just said?" She said her father's dying and she's consoling her sister. And then the other woman said, "If you can't have some compassion, you shouldn't be in this kind of work." So she was like, "Oh, you're going to argue with me. You're going to blah, blah," and just blew up. She calls the captain of the plane. As we're ready to take off, tells her to pull over the plane and kick these women off. These older women who were grieving because their father is dying and they're on the way to go see him in hospice. They pull the plane over, have a police officer escort this woman who's having now a panic attack, heaving, crying, because she was so upset that now they were not going to be able to see their father because he was going to be dying within minutes, if not hours. And so they kicked them off the plane, and apparently, so they kicked them off the plane. We start to take off again, and the other flight attendants come to the back, and the two that were crazy, that need to be medicated, went up to the front to get away from us because we were all like, "That was so wrong what you just did." And so then she goes, "Well, the other one that wasn't involved said, well, when people act that way, if we can't control them on the ground, how are we going to control them in the air? If you start cussing at people and flipping them off and won't get back in your seat, then, we can't allow that in the plane." And about four of us looked at that stewardess and were like, "What? She didn't cuss at anyone. She didn't flip anyone off." And so I gave this lady my phone number before she got kicked off the plane, and she told me that the flight attendant also told airport security that she refused to sit back down in her chair. This woman never left her seat. She had her seatbelt on the whole time. She didn't even get up. All she did was reach across the aisle and like massage her sister's shoulder, trying to comfort her because she was crying. And so then for the woman to say that that she cussed at her and flipped her off, they were reading the Bible. They were reading Bible verses, praying across the aisle. I'm sitting right behind her watching all of this, and everybody around us was watching this. Yet that crazy lied and told the captain that she cussed at her, flipped her off, and refused to get back in her seat. And of course he had to believe her. But that made all of us an hour late when we were already 3-4 hours late getting home, because this girl that needs to be medicated snapped because she didn't like that the woman snapped back at her for not having compassion for the fact that her father was dying, and she was trying to console her sister. I really had to bite my tongue, but we all, as adults, felt like we suddenly were in a dictatorship and we had no right to speak our free minds. We had no right to an opinion on this plane, or we would get thrown off, is what it felt like. And not only that, the GPS wasn't working. We had to change planes. I'm sorry, but Allegiant just isn't worth the cheap flight. And I want you to share the heck out of this video, because if they don't do something about those two stewardesses on Flight 1201 from Sanford, Orlando to Asheville on January 2nd, they're gonna lose a lot of business from this video. I hope that they do something about this, because that was the most inhumane, deplorable thing I've ever seen any human being do. That's just unheard of. And I'm sorry, but these people are losing their mind. You need to medicate that girl, fire her. She's the one who's the safety hazard on the plane, to be quite honest, because if she flips like that, trying to play power trip God, I don't know what, but share this video, because I'm not trying to spread hate. I'm not trying to spread anger, I'm trying to spread awareness so that some sort of action can be done about it.